Hi, this is Chris Glatzel again with Healing Heart Workshops, where we heal your heart through art. Not cute. Anyway, this video is on self-worth, and I just want to give you a little update as to what this is about. If you've ever felt or had the feeling that, wow, if people only knew you, they would not like you, or that they secretly don't like you, but they're pretending or something, or that people are being fake, or like they say those things to everybody and it doesn't really mean anything if they only knew you, but they don't really know you, they don't really care, all those things, or that they're just tolerating you, or I don't know. So if you've had that voice in your head for your whole life, or even just your adult life, that says you're just big, fat, ugly, stupid, whatever, if that thought's ringing through your head all the time, then I really feel like that this video is for you. We're going to try to uncover some of those things and figure out where they came from and get rid of them. It's kind of that easy. It's not simple. No, change that. It's simple, but it's not that easy. It really takes a lot of hard work in your head to do something with those lies. I've read a book by Dr. Caroline Leaf. You might want to look it up. And she talks about stinking thinking makes little ugly trees in our brains. And those lies have, if they've been reinforced over our entire life, they grow into these big, huge, ugly trees. And it takes 21 days of better thought process to take one of those trees down, right? But she also, and then about that length of time, to build another good tree that is positive and good thoughts. She can actually see the brain. She's a neuroscientist, so she can see the results of good thinking, bad thinking on your actual brain tissue. And so she studies these little trees. Her name is Dr. Caroline Leaf. I think that's funny. Anyway, but she also calls this cognitive dissonance. If you try to tell yourself you're amazing and you really, really don't believe that in your heart. So something has to change somewhere, and I believe that it's in your belief system, in your heart of hearts, in your spiritual core, and that's what we're addressing today. We're not addressing your mind. Counselors can do that, and they do that really well. And I want you to go see one if you need to have reinforcements after this, and reinforce the good thoughts that you're going to be getting. But anyway, this is important to find out where those lies came from, and then reestablish some truth. So when we've done these art workshops in our studio with different groups, it's been really well received and uplifting. So I wanted more people to be able to access this, and I'm glad you're here. So I believe this is going to be transformational for you. If you haven't watched the Painting with Emotions video, go back and do that. That should be in your inbox. And because that kind of gives you an idea of how to process this way, and a reference point to what I'm asking you to paint an emotion. So that's important. Like I said, we have 3 videos coming up in this journey that I believe will be very healing for you. And then after that, we'll have an opportunity to go further on with some other stuff that we'll be talking about: trauma, identity, fear, that kind of thing. A lot of this centers around forgiveness. So I just want to explain real quick what forgiveness is and is not. First of all, whoever you're choosing to forgive, and it's a choice, you're not letting them off the hook. If they did something wrong, evil, bad, neglectful to you, it's just that you're not holding the other end of the line anymore. You're giving that line to God and letting Him take care of the revenge or something. It's giving up the right to get revenge. It's more about your freedom than their freedom. So if you're really sick and tired of having this thing nag at you and eat at you, this is a time to let it go. And it's not like saying they didn't do anything wrong. It's not like saying you have to ever trust that person again. You don't. it's called boundaries. You know what I mean? So it's unforgiveness is like a ball and chain. It wears you down. It's like putting yourself in a cage. Another analogy is like drinking poison, hoping the other person will die, you know, like that. So it's really trusting God to work with them, and while He heals your heart. Okay, so forgiveness is a huge deal, and let's I just want to make sure that you know that right off the bat, that that's what we're going into. So meanwhile, right now it's time to change the narrative of your life. You are a masterpiece. You were created with a destiny, and God had you in His thoughts before He ever created you or knew you, before your mother knew you. There's a verse like that somewhere. But He really did. He dreamt about you and your destiny for forever. And so I believe you were designed to be amazing. So it's time to find a different perspective through forgiveness and truth. And so let's go. You right? Ready? Okay. So this exercise will be an art journal. We're going to be doing these on these little 8x10 canvas panels. You can choose to do a larger one. Like, and I talked to you earlier about the art supplies. We have our tray of paints. Make sure you go back and look at that video. It has a PDF attached with the what you're going to need for supplies. Okay, and our different sorts of paints and our little tools. We've got our makeup sponges and or these kind of sponges, or both if you want. Doesn't matter. And your Q-tips, they come in really, really handy. Okay, so so as we go through this process, you're going to have layers of thoughts and emotions on your canvas. So feel free to lay down a whole, you know, cover the entire thing if you want, or just in one little corner or something. When, you know, as we build, it will change. So your first painting, whatever you put down in there will not be the same. It will not look the same in the end. You may or may not see what you put down in the beginning. The end result is that you'll have a story and a journal. You're also going to be writing as we go. So keep a notebook handy, and I will cue you to write down what your thoughts are, and then you're going to paint. Okay. So right now I want to show you how these tools work. You don't need to do it this way. However it works for you is fine. I'm going to take my makeup sponge here and just dip it in the paint, maybe scrape it off on the side of my canvas so I get, and I like that shape. I like that shape that I'm getting. So I'm just going to, actually this means something. I'm just going to put things like that down. That's a nice way, or you can scrape. You can go like that. You can use the other end of things. So we're using two colors in this first one. I'm going to use brown and orange, and we can dot, 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 dot. That's a nice way to do it. Okay, so those are just some ways to use this as a tool as you put it down like that. And then the Q-tips have some cute little applications too. You can like do squiggles with them, or you can do dots if you want, or you can take the side of the Q-tip and you know, draw, like fill in an area. It's easier with a sponge though. So I just wanted to show you that there's some ways to do this. Please don't do what I just did. I mean, that defeats the purpose, but use some of these ways to apply, and maybe you should pause the video and experiment, you know, like you should have had some experimentation time last time when we did the emotions video. Feel free to take another canvas board or whatever and just play. I was doing that one day and I came up with just this. This was just a playtime where I was just kind of playing with the effects that you can have with these sponges. This is mainly sponges. And I really had fun with this. So, you know, you can at the end, we're going to be doing a lot more of this kind of thing later on. So I want you to just get used to the tools and have fun. All right. So however this works for you is however you end up doing it is fine. It's really, you don't have to be an artist. Like I said before, you don't have to do anything necessarily, you know, like me. Okay. So you can do it however you want to express yourself is fine. All right. Okay. So I've really been praying and asking God to show you what he wants you to know today, and what he wants you to know out of this. So if I haven't mentioned it before, I'm a Christian, and we do all of this through forgiveness and processing what God thinks, and learning to hear from him. And the biggest thing is that he wants to talk to us, and he wants us to encounter his thoughts towards us instead of the negative things in our heads. So I believe that's where the real change happens, is when we understand by revelation what he's saying about us, and then we have it and we put it on our journal, and we write it in our journal. It makes a lot of difference, you know, about if we start contemplating that and applying that. So we all have areas that we don't like about ourselves. We all have areas, you know. As I get older, I'm finding more, you know, and I really have to appreciate, you know, my genetics and what God gave me through, you know, and I'm like, oh man, I got wrinkles like so-and-so, and I, you know, oh man, whatever. It's okay. You know, God made us all unique, and it's all right to be that way. I got to learn how to grow old gracefully. That's it. Yes. So, I think, have you ever wondered why, you know, you don't like what you're like? You know, I think as little kids, we don't even think about that stuff. And then as we grow up, we have all these areas that we hate about ourselves, or sometimes we really, really don't like things about ourselves. We really think we're a horrible person or whatever. And I think it's because we have an enemy who wants to destroy us. And what easier way to lie to us and tell us that we're nothing, or we're terrible, or whatever, you know. And sometimes these lies are planted when we're little by the people that were supposed to love us the most, and that's always sad, but we have a way to deal with it, so it's good. So anyway, so get your paint, get your canvas board ready, put it right in front of you, and we're going to process today. We're going to ask a series of questions, and as we answer those questions, sometimes you'll journal, sometimes you'll paint, sometimes you'll do both, okay? And the reason I want you to journal is because I want you to remember what you were putting down and why. And if you wanted to email me and tell me how this went and stuff, or even leave a comment at the bottom of this video, that'd be awesome, because I want to know what your process has been. If you want it to be private, just go ahead and email me, and that'll be fine too. So the first question is, this is the first question, and I want you to kind of just close your eyes and ask God this question. God, what is the lie, the biggest lie that I'm believing about myself? You'll be pausing the video along the way here. If you need to pause at any time, go ahead. But I want you to take a few minutes on that question and just ask yourself, what's the biggest lie? And if you don't get an answer right away, another way you could ask it is there something about myself that I really don't like? And that's probably it. Okay, so that's just another way to come to that answer. So take your time, and when you're ready, I want you to take two of the colors that you choose and paint how that feels. Before you do that, make sure you journal, or right after, journal about what that's feeling like. I painted what that feels like. So I'll tell you later why I did that, but I want you to take two colors and paint how that feels, that lie. Okay? So pause your video right here. Question number 2. The question is, when did I first start believing this lie and write down that answer and journal that. Pause. Okay, and then with 2 colors, paint when you start it, kind of paint the beginnings of that. Okay, and then pause the video. So number 3, is there someone I need to forgive? And this is very, very important regarding this lie. If there's somebody in your past that you need to forgive, it could be yourself. Somebody who loved you and didn't mean to hurt you. So I want you to pray this prayer with me. I choose to forgive, fill in the blank, for not loving me the way I needed to be loved and not valuing me. Okay. So when you're ready, I want you to take 2 colors and paint the feeling of forgiveness, and what that relief feels like. Okay. So number 4 thing that we're going to do is you're going to pray this prayer with me too. We're going to do a lot of praying. Is that okay? So, Father God, forgive me for believing this lie about myself. And I reject the lie, because it is a lie, that you, Father God, think that way about me. Father God, what is the truth? So you've asked him a question. I want you to wait a few minutes and get the answer. And then journal that answer. And after you're done journaling, when you're ready, use 2 colors and paint what the truth is on top of or around or however you end up doing it, okay? And pause the video here. So the next question is similar, but I want you to ask God this question and say, Father God, what is your favorite thing about me? And wait a few minutes and let him answer that question. I believe he will. Whatever drops in your heart. And then journal that with 2 colors, with as many colors actually, this time, with as many colors as you want. Finish up your painting with what God feels about you. And pause the video right here until you're done. So I want you to take your notes and paste and tape them to the back of your journal, of your art journal. So put your written journal on the back of your art journal. And when you look back, you can remind yourself of what God showed you. So I believe it's been powerful. And if you've taken the time to pause during this and process and ask God these questions, I think that you'll get a lot more out of it, obviously, than just watching. This is going too fast for that. It has to be under a certain amount of time anyway. So I can't guarantee your life will change just by listening to this or by even doing the creative part, but I do know that as I've applied these principles, I'm different today than I was 10 years ago. I'm more connected up with my feelings. I can process better. I use these all the time. And the cool thing is once you're aware of these tools, you can use them over and over, and questions come up and you can apply them and get answers, and it makes your day go so much better. So this is Chris Glatzel with Healing Heart Workshops, and please leave a comment below of what you thought of today's video, and if there's anything else you'd like to see or hear. And remember, you were meant to be amazing.